Okay, so I went all the way around my heart again with the white, and I marbled it down flat so that now I have what looks like pretty much a circle. It's close enough for cookies. Now I'm going to put my swipes of the red on, okay, so that I have stripes around my heart. I am going to just burn that thicker end off, and I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm going to tack my red down and then chase it with the flame across to the other side. And I like to pull that stripe down over the other side so that I make sure that as much of this mourini as I can get is usable. Okay, so I have my first swipe of the red. Now if you want to be super on top of making it all even, you can cut it into quarters. You could do quarters, and then you could do, you know, halves or whatever. It's all in how you like to do it. I like the freedom of putting them wherever my little heart desires. I want the white between them. I want to see the white between them, so I'm putting them far enough apart that you're going to definitely see that white, because the white is my second stripe. If I wanted to do two different colors, say I didn't want to use the white as my stripe, I could get another color of stringer and do, you know, it could be purple and red or whatever color you wanted it to be. So I heat up the section that I want to add my stringer to. I tack my stringer on the one side, and then I chase it with the flame and cut it off with the flame there. And just tap it down. That way it won't just pop off on accident while I'm still working on going around. Alright, so I've got a bunch of stripes going. Every so often you want to go back to your first set of stripes and just make sure that they're not going to pop off. We're just going around and around and around. We're about halfway around now. Just want to make sure I heat up those back side ones. As long as you're chasing it with the flame and it's pretty molten when you attach them, you're probably not going to pop off too easily. But you just never know, so better to take care and make sure than to lose one. Again, you heat your white where you want it to go, lay it down, chase it with the flame all the way across, and then tack it down, cut it off with the flame. Almost done. Alright, so now you have a spot. You come to the end and you have to decide, is that spot here large enough for me to put another stringer, or would I want that just to be a white stripe? But I think it's large enough to put down another stringer, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And that's my last one. I'm going to tack it down and tack down the ones I wasn't tacking. Make sure they're all adhered. Okay, so I have white with red stripes. Now I'm going to melt in all of those stringers all the way down into that white. At this point, we don't need the whole mass of glass to get hot. We're just trying to melt that top layer, those stringers, down into the white before we move on to the next step, which is what we call capping it. You can cap in a couple of ways. The way I kind of like a hybrid of the two ways that other people have shown me how. The one way is to do all clear, and you can use your scrap clear, whatever little pieces of clear you end up with after you've made something, that you've encased something or whatever. You just use your pliers and pick up a piece of clear and then put it on the end there. So we're going to cap our heart here, the end here. And to do that, the reason that we do that, let me explain the reason, is that all these stripes may not come to the center, okay? And we want this whole center part to pull out at the same time as the stripes are pulling out. So we want to make sure that we have enough glass in there so that we can catch all of those stripes and we can catch that heart in the center. So that's why we're going to fill in with a little bit of clear. Now I happen to not have any little spare pieces of glass, clear glass hanging out, which would be what I would usually prefer to use. I hate to waste a good clear rod of glass, but I cleaned my studio area here for you guys so you could see my tabletop, and apparently I swiped away all of my clear glass, little pieces. Alright. So that is just a clear lens. It touches the heart in the center. It touches all of the outside. It doesn't go over the edge of the Murrini. It just is around the edge of it. Now I'm going to use my brass marver, whatever brass marver you might have, and I'm going to hold my Murrini downward, and I'm going to just swipe this lower edge. I'm just heating the lower edge where the clear and the colored stripes meet. And I'm just gently swiping it downward. And that's making sure that those two are connected. You want that clear to help you, but it has to adhere to your colors for it to help you. So doing it this way, you're just making sure that's happening. Alright? So now I have kind of a little cone shape, and I'm ready to put in my second punty. I'm going to heat up the tip of my punty. I'm going to heat up that clear glass that I just put on here. And once the clear glass is a little molten and the punty is hot, I'm going to push it into the center. I'm going to push up. I'm going to go downward. I'm going to go side. I'm going to go to the other side. And that's made sure that that punty is really attached to that glass. Okay, now I'm going to heat my Murrini a little bit to give it some insurance heat so nothing cracks, because I've been messing with the clear for a little while. And now I'm going to take off my initial punty just by focusing the heat there so that I can cap this other side. And if you did really a good job and got all of your stripes to hit that punty, you wouldn't really have to cap this side, especially on such a small little Murrini. But if you want to make sure that you get the most usable out of it as you can, then you want to remove this punty. The only way to do that is to get enough heat in there. There we go. Okay, so now that punty is out, and I'm going to cap this with the clear again. little insurance heat over here on that other cap while I get some of my clear ready to go. And I'm going to push that clear into that hole that my punty left when I took it out. And I'm just going to add a little bit of the clear. It doesn't take a whole lot of clear, but you want it to be a lens over that whole face of your Murrini. And now you can use, again, your brass marber, whatever brass marber you have. Hold your Murrini up like that, and then swipe downward so that those stripes are touching and become melted into that clear. Alright, and there's my clear cap. It's ready for my punchy to go back in. Get my clear cap ready, nice and hot and molten, and my punchy nice and hot. And then squish them together, go up, go down, go side to side, and that way it's nice and adhered. Now I have two hands with which to control this mass of glass as I get it nice and hot and molten and ready to pull out. Now for speed's sake, I'm going to turn on my second flame. You totally do not need a second flame when you're making Murrini. As long as you don't make them too big, you can do it on a mini CC, you can do it on whatever your beginner torch is. You just have to have the patience to wait till the glass is hot enough to pull and evenly heated. Okay, so just for speed's sake, I'm going to turn on my outer flame. When you're heating up your Murrini, you want to come at it from different angles. So you're going to come at it from this angle, then you're going to turn and you're going to come at it from this angle. You want to not only be heating the center, you need to heat the center too, but you want to get these sides so that you don't end up with these big huge dog bones, which is can be potentially wasted glass, or you can put them into the kiln and try and pull them down later. Now as you're heating this, if you've got a little wonky shape like I do right now, it should become circular. If you're going around and around in a circle, you know that glass likes to become round. So as long as you are continuing to keep it moving, it will round up for you. So you want to just keep moving side to side. Center every so often. Okay. Now you can tell that it's ready to be pulled when you can push it in and it bulges, and you can pull it out and it stretches. Okay, so I can push it in, it bulges, pull it out, it stretches. Now just to make sure, since I did that twice, I just want to go ahead and make sure I've got enough heat. And then I'm going to start pulling it out. Okay, you've got to keep twisting it while you're pulling it. Now if you're pulling too fast, you're going to get a really skinny little Murrini. But you also have to read how your glass is going. If it's getting hard to pull, then you want to pull faster if you don't want a big fat Murrini. If you want a big fat Murrini, then just pull it as slowly as you want to get the size you want. This is going to be a good size. This is probably going to be 4 to 5 millimeter. And the stripes go mostly all the way down on both sides, so I haven't lost a whole lot of glass. So once it's seized up and you can't pull anymore, you're going to turn off your flame. and you're going to get your nippers. You're going to cut off as close to the end as you can, and on the other side. Now this is a good size. The 5, anything below 10 millimeters is going to be fine sitting out, cooling down. That's about the size of, you know, your glass rods that you got. They don't need to be put in the kiln. If it gets much bigger, like these dog bones, if I said, okay, I want to try and pull out these, if they were bigger and I wanted to try and pull them out, now I would put them in the kiln so that they could stay hot until I was ready to pull them down the rest of the way. But you can see the little heart in there. You see the bottom one, I guess, better. Little heart in there. It turned out cute. So that's how you make a heart mourini. Feel free to give me any questions that you might have. I would be happy to answer them. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.